All right, everybody, welcome back to another Insurance Toolkits podcast here. We have another special guest for our lead interviewing. So, Mr. Harold, I will let you introduce yourself so I don't do you any disservice.
It's okay. My name's Harold Randolph. I'm an insurance agent. I've been doing insurance since 2006 here in Michigan. I don't know, and I love it. Love doing what I'm doing. So,
Awesome. And you've been in the field now for how many years?
oh man, since the beginning, it's always been field. There's a stint where I was an executive and I sat behind a desk for a while, and yeah, I like the people, being in front of the people, and just got back into field management and
Okay,
individual agent stuff. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Now, I'm always curious, when you first started off in the insurance industry, what was your perspective on leads then, and kind of how's that shifted towards now?
When I got into the insurance industry, I was doing supplemental insurance, and the leads were, we were kind of in a microcosm where the leads were kind of free because they belonged to the company versus them belonging to an actual agent. So
Right.
my view of leads was a little bit different. Once I got into a world where I had to purchase and acquire leads and get into that whole deal, man, it's definitely a different way of looking at it. So the money that you spend, you want to make sure that how do I know that what I'm spending my money on, that these leads are actually going to lead to something, you know? So you kind of feel that hesitancy before you buy as you look into that whole thing.
For sure. And then for new agents, one of the biggest things that you could probably imagine, especially for newer agents in the field who they're transitioning maybe from another career field, do you think right, budgeting is obviously budgeting for your leads, knowing right because it's a cash flow business, so you need to spend money on leads, but you also need to be closing deals and placing your prospects with the right carriers and not have it pending in underwriting for 6 weeks, right? The cash flow needs to come
Right.
back in. Um, I'm curious. So, how did you find out initially? Was it a referral to our leads here at Insurance Toolkits, or was it through social media? Um,
It was actually through Stephanie. Uh, so she kind of told us about it, and we're like, man, well, obviously we want to try different things, what works and what doesn't, and these leads have just been fantastic. I believe that leads are just the seed of a tree because there's a referral system that should go along with every lead that you purchase. So having the work being done beforehand where the people are kind of warm, when you reach out to them and starting that relationship off right just really helps out. If you're asking me about budgeting, I mean, you budget what you can afford, but make sure you maximize each and every last one of those leads. And that
yep.
that goes back to the quality of the lead to begin with.
Right. I like that perspective because a lot of agents, and I'm sure you've seen this, um, if we just reduce it to its basis element, a lead is a lead, and it really is up to the agent to work that lead. But when you have a high quality lead, that when you call them, they're not asking, they're not hanging up on you. They're not saying, I don't even know what this is. I haven't submitted this, or
Right.
you're the 18th person to call me today. Those things, albeit, real concerns you can get with the lead, when you get a high quality lead, like you need to expend that lead and work that lead through its entire lifetime, right? I always say that if I'm going to call that lead until either A, my number's blocked, or B, I have an appointment on the books, and obviously we don't want to
Absolutely.
call somebody we don't want to put them in at risk of thinking that every person who calls them is trying to be a scam and all these sorts of things. But to call somebody 3, 4, 5 times a day and to go door knock their house and to work this lead, because like you mentioned, you paid for the lead, it's yours, you own it, and that person still needs insurance. So if they're out there still submitting requests for insurance and having other agents call them, you don't want somebody else to do the job and get paid for something that you could have done. Um, so when
Right.
you're working with these leads, specifically our leads, I'll start with what's sort of that conversation looking like? Like a lot of agents want to know, like when you get that lead on the phone, of course your script is probably more customized to you. You're more of a natural, but what's that conversation looking like? Are you getting like are you getting the appointment set relatively easily? Are people knowing why you're calling? Are you using the security questions? Give me just a little synopsis of kind of how that
If
conversation is.
if they answer the phone, it's pretty much an appointment because the connection is made. It's already set up. So I just basically say, hi, is this their first name? Hi, is this Joe? Yeah, this is Joe. Hey, Joe, Harold Randolph calling you from American Senior Benefits. I'm calling you because you were looking for some burial insurance. I'm the guy who's going to take care of that for you. It's the
Right.
one where you said that your favorite color was blue. Do you remember that? They say yes. and the appointment is pretty much made from that point. I said, great. Well, I have this information. I want to get this in front of you. Let's get set up time where we can sit down and discuss, and I can answer all of your questions. I'm going to be available and go right into setting the appointment. Once you get there and sit down at the table with them, warm up. I know you don't want to go through all that, but to me, again, I look at leads as a seed, because I may have spent X amount of dollars for this lead, but I don't want a sale. I want a couple of sales. I want 3 points of contact in that home, and I want one referral. I don't need 10, 12 from each person. Just give me one, because that one is going to lead to the next, to the next, to the next, and it all starts with an appointment. And setting an appointment from these leads isn't something that you should, spend 5, 6, 7 minutes on the phone with someone. No, this is a 30-second, 45-second deal. Set the appointment, make the connection, and get off of it and get in front of them. Make sure you're on time, and that'll start a relationship. Every single person, like the Truman Show, these are real people. Every single lead leads you into a community of people. Right. All you have to do is ask. And that's what you're basically purchasing with the leads. That's how I look at it.
Right. So you think, I like that approach too, because it really is just opportunities. When you meet with somebody, that person might not even be the sale, but the referral that they give you might be the sale,
might be the sale.
Right. That might be the sale. Right. So do you think it's safe to say that the goal of working a lead isn't to make a sale, it's to set the appointment and get in the home?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
I
So
would absolutely say that.
I'm always curious to see, agents' opinions on that, because obviously some agents are telesales, which in that case, yeah, get them on the phone and try to get them closed. But when you're working leads and you're out in the field and you're meeting face to face with clients, any type of lead, whether it's insurance toolkits or not, we always say diversification. Have 2 to 3, 2 to 4 vendors that you're working with, to not put all your eggs in one basket, of course. And
right.
by tracking the metrics, I don't want to. You may not have watched all the videos, but I always, not to beat it at horse, but I always talk about metrics and how important it is to track your the lifetime value of your clients, your cost per lead, and your cost per acquisition. But how important it is and I've failed to mention this, or maybe make it a big enough point, on your speed to contact. So when you get that lead, getting them on the phone as quick as possible, not delaying it 3 days. I have someone I'm working with now who I'm helping, and she's having problems, but I'm trying to minimize that gap from when there's basically 2 points of a lead. When they fill out that lead form online, and then when you call them, the shorter that gap is, the higher the likelihood of you have to closing it, right? So if you get that lead on Monday, but you're not calling that lead until Tuesday or Wednesday, or you're kind of putting it off in your mind, by the time you talk to them, they probably already have a policy from another agent. So,
or at least an appointment set. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And
right.
Even with exclusive leads, I think you guys are working our exclusive final expense leads. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
We sell those leads exclusively to you guys, but we can't control that person if they went on to another website and submitted a request for a quote from another company, right? We can't control what their sequential order of where they're clicking at on their computer. So the lead's exclusive to us, but again, to kind of optimize and put the odds of closing that deal in your favor, because you're literally in the field right now. Like, you're the definition of hustling. You're taking this call and you're putting in the work, and you got the knowledge. But a lot of agents, man, they get leads and they'll just wait. And it's like, you bought the lead. There's nothing to wait for anymore. Oh, I got to wait till this gets approved, or my contract gets approved, or I got to get my script, or I got to memorize. It's like, no. You got the lead. Make the phone call and get in the field. That's how you're gonna make the sale. So I'm curious, and I keep saying that because everyone has a different perspective, although the points are usually the same. What do you think, at least from your perspective, for a new agent in the field working leads, what's going to be their biggest obstacle to overcome? Do you think it's budgeting? Do you think it's time management? What do you think new agents who are buying leads should be focusing on, those first few weeks out?
I think that number one should be, obviously you're going to have to buy leads if that's the industry that you're in. There's no place for you to get other leads.
Right.
But truly it comes to value. Nothing has value unless you place value on it. So my belief is, before you purchase that lead, before you hit that button, before you say yes, you've got to assign mentally some type of value to these leads. Mm-hmm. Whether it's your goal, a number that you're trying to hit, or the way that I look at it, I'm more of an emotional person. I have an emotional sale, and more of this could be the beginning of a great relationship with your entire family. This one name, I think about it that way. So assigning value to the lead so that you don't just dilly-dally with them. You've got a lot of money sitting in front of you, not just what you spent, but what the actual value of those leads are if you just call them on time. Number two is going to be time management. Very, very difficult, especially when you're, a contractor coming into this business and you don't really have someone telling you what to do.
Right.
You've got to tell yourself what to do, tell yourself when to get up. First couple times you get up late or get up and not do it and no one says anything about it, that could become a habit. You have to be mindful of your habits. They define you, they define your success, and they define how you feel about yourself. So, make a promise to yourself and keep it. So it's going to be those two things, I believe. Making sure you have value to the leads that you're going after, and truly understanding how important your time is.
I like that. You said a lot of great stuff in there, but what stuck out to me is being mindful of your habits is what you said. That is that's very prophetic in and of itself. It's much deeper than that too. Like, you have to be mindful of your habits. The little things that, it's just going to take 5 minutes. 5 minutes adds up, when you're doing, when you're doing things, which is why I appreciate you taking this video with us, this interview with, it's, I know how important your time is, especially as an agent in the field, but those little habits of 3 to 5 minutes here and there, that can add up to, let's just say 30 or 40 minutes a day. I know that if I give you a list of 25 leads and I give you 40 minutes, you're going to probably set some appointments in that time. Or if I put you in the home with somebody in 40 minutes, you could probably close a deal. So when you start to look at your time like that, it's like Grant Cardone, and I know people may have mixed opinions on him, but he had a good analogy he gave once, was his little daughter was making calls and she made a sale, and it took her like 20 calls or whatever to get let's just say a $2,000 sale. And he said, how much was that call worth? And she said, it's $2,000. And he said, no. Do 2,000 divided by 20, and whatever that number is, let's just say it was $20 per call. Every phone call is going to make you $20, right?
Yeah.
I know that less. I know it's more than that, but just,
I understand the concept of a book I once read called Go for No.
Okay.
And it's like, we all, as salespeople, we're afraid of the word no. No, we're not. We get used to it. It's what it is. So every time someone tells you no, you make some money off of that, because it's so many times before you're going to get the actual yes. Exactly what you're saying. It's the same thing.
Exactly. And I think that's huge because, even for myself, I think that as a human, it's human behavior. Right? We look at consumer behavior. We study a lot of these metrics. Nobody wants to get told no, but there's people who will go out there and this might be the extremes, but like there's people who will go out there to places and specifically ask questions they're going to get told no to, just to become more comfortable hearing it. Like maybe you go to like McDonald's and you say, can I have a Whopper? The answer is going to be no, but by just asking questions, the answer is going to be no to. You go to the grocery store and say, hey, can I have that for free? They're going to say no. Or you go to the bank, can I have $1,000 but keep it in my account? No. You start to build up those habits. So I think the power of no, that's another great point that you made there. But yeah, just being mindful of your habits. So this is always a tricky question, but I think it's important because a lot of new agents, watch these videos. What do you think? So if you were an independent agent going back in the field for your first week, what are 3 things that you're going to do before you go out in the field for the first time? To really look with the knowledge that you have today, looking back, what would you have done differently, or whatever you did worked? What are 3 things that a new agent going in the field, it's like, man, if you got these 3 things, you're going to be really setting yourself up for a good week?
Okay. 3 things. And heading into the field, you're talking about actual field work, right?
Right, okay. In the field.
Well, most definitely I'm going to have preset appointments. That's number 1. Mm-hmm. That's just a great way to start your week, start off whatever it is. And looking at Monday as a power day instead of that day you're trying to get yourself back together. But I'll be that. I'd have a script on top of the 3, 4, or 5 appointments that I have set. A script to me is an old thing I learned is called script 15, where I have to have 15 points of contact during the day. Okay. Even if I'm just talking to the person that's pumping gas next to me, I got to make sure that on top of my appointments, I'm going to make sure that I make 15 contacts every single day. Wow. Some of them turn to leads, some of them turn to other things, but during that day, I've got to make those 15 things. And number 3, not worry about how this day is going to end. Put your processes, put the pressure on the system. Okay. Your process, your sales process, your appointments that are preset. your 15 points of talking, and at the end of the day, just see how it works out. But don't preconceive how the day is going to go. Just go out and do your process, and do that every single day, and put your head down and tuck that in, and you'll see the success at the end of it. It's the small victories that turn into the large victories. It's the little work that you put in today, the grind work, that's going to give you the relaxation time that you're going to need tomorrow. And that's
Wow.
it.
I like that second one, especially 15 points. That's the first time I've heard that, but that's a really unique. I like that a lot. So basically, in addition to your appointments, you're saying try to make 15 points of contacts with somebody throughout the day, 15 different people. And
Yes.
I like that a lot. That's definitely awesome. And then of course, like you mentioned, so the 3 preset appointments, make 15 points of contacts. Is that something that you read? What was that title of that book that you said, or
Go for no, we were talking earlier?
the 15 points that it was what was that little
No,
saying?
so I call it a script 15, and it's making 15 points of contact throughout the day. You can include your preset appointments.
Okay.
That's a point of contact with someone. But, when you stop to have lunch and you talk to someone, ask them a question. Leave your card. Say, hey, if you need something, are you happy with your health insurance? Are you happy with this, or whatever it may be? It's just those points and a little 3x5 card that I just kind of dash off when I hit those 15 at the end of the day. It's just a way of belittling the numbers that intimidate. I got to sell this. I need to move this premium. I need to move this. No, I need to make these contacts. I need to have this many presentations. I need to ask for the money this many times during the day. That's how you create consistency.
Right. And I think by doing that, those points of contacts, those contacts turn to conversations, those conversations turn to questions, those questions turn to problems, and then you probably got some solutions for those. And I just did the quick math here. If you're just doing 15 points of contact a day, 5 days a week for the month, that's an additional 300 people that you're going to be getting in front of a month. I mean, those numbers you're just putting, people say, oh man, there's no way I can't afford 300 leads. Well, following that method, you can. I think that's a great way. And then the last piece obviously is, I think probably psychologically the most important was not caring how this day ends, so to speak. Like however this day ends, it's going to end. But that if I have preset appointments, I'm making my contacts throughout the day, and I'm not tying myself to end result. I'm just following the process. You're going to get the results, and it's going to work out. But I think that a lot of agents, when you set expectations for yourself, now of course goal planning is good, and you want to have goals to hit and metrics. But when you set high expectations for yourself and you don't meet them, then a lot of people use that as an excuse to say, okay, well, I'm going to take the next week off and I'm going to try to learn a little bit more about this, or I'm going to try to study the script a little bit more. But no, man, wake up tomorrow with some preset appointments, make those contacts, don't tie yourself to the results, rinse and repeat, and you're going to have some success. So I really like those. I haven't heard those 3 before, but I will say those are 3. For any agent out there, new agent watching those, that's a really, really powerful piece of mindset to have. And I think, of course, goal planning is of the utmost importance. But when you're not tying yourself to, man, if I don't get any sales today, then I'm a failure. Well, guess what? You might not get sales today or tomorrow, but you're probably going to get it the next day as long as you continuously repeat the cycle. So yeah, I also wanted to leave an opportunity here for you at the end, just to kind of let people know, agents out there who may want to reach out to you, who may want to work with you. Let them know how to reach out to you. If you want to leave your phone number, email, and let them know a little bit about, exactly what you're doing and how they can reach out to you if they'd like.
I guess I'll keep it pretty simple. I mean, my name's Harold Randolph. You can find me pretty much anywhere. Find me on LinkedIn. My contact's there. And if you want to reach me by phone, my number is 269-339-4433. That's it.
Perfect. Yeah, because I think a lot of the insights that you gave here, there's certain things that you can get taught, but there's certain things that you just have to be in the field. And I think, that's a great example of a lot of stuff that you gave today is real practical information that agents can use in the field week after week to actually have long-term success. Because as you can probably attest, going out and having a killer month is great, but we can't just have a killer month. I'd rather have a good month and then another good month and then another good month and then another good month and then another.
Right.
When we used to have one killer month, you're a one-hit wonder, you pop off, you shine, you get a cool whip, you get a nice watch, and then 6 months you're giving it all back.
Right. Yeah, no, right.
You got to be consistent. So Harold, I definitely appreciate your time today. This was one of my favorite interviews, and I'm not just saying that. I think there was a lot of actual insight from in-field experience that you gave today. So definitely Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to tune in to the next one.